Lauren William Heaven fostered a newborn baby girl during the summer of 1994. They named her Erin, and she became an integral part of the household. From the moment she entered their lives, Lauren Williams showered her with affection, ensuring she received the same love and care as their biological children over the years. Erin developed a strong bond with her foster sisters. They formed a tight-knit family unit supporting and encouraging each other. The Heavens saw something special in Erin and knew that she belonged with them when Erin turned 3 years old. Lauren William made the momentous decision to adopt her. They recognized the unique bond they had formed and wanted to make sure that Erin had a stable and loving home in which to grow up. The adoption process was finalized, and Erin officially became a Heaven. Growing up, Erin was a shy and reserved girl. She often found it difficult to express herself and connect with others on a social and emotional level. However, she had one passion that brought her comfort: horses. Erin discovered a love of horses at a young age. She had a natural connection with animals, and knew riding them allowed her to be her true self. The East Tennessee Riding Club became a haven for Erin, where she could escape daily life's pressures and expectations. At the riding club, Erin found a sense of belonging and camaraderie. The horses provided a non-judgmental and understanding environment, allowing her to explore her emotions and discover her inner strength. Erin spent hours in the stables grooming and riding horses, and she found solace in the tranquility of the equestrian world. Lauren William had strict rules for their daughters growing up, especially when it came to dating. When Erin met Jon Corwin, she immediately knew that she had found someone special. Jon was kind, respectful, and genuine about getting to know Erin better. However, Erin was aware of the strict rules her parents had in place, so she hesitated to introduce Jon to her family. After much consideration, Erin decided to tell Jon about her parents' standards. She knew that if they were ever to become a couple, they would need their permission. Jon understood the importance of respecting Erin's parents' wishes, so he boldly reached out to Lauren William. Lauren William were pleasantly surprised when Jon asked their permission to date their daughter. They appreciated his willingness to adhere to their values and understand the importance of family. After meeting with Jon, they were impressed by his respectful demeanor and genuine interest in getting to know the Heaven family over time. Jon won over Lauren William and became an integral part of the family. He respected their traditions, supported them in difficult times, and became a part of their everyday life. Jon quickly became a trusted and loved member of the Heaven household. As Erin and Jon grew closer, their relationship blossomed. They became an official couple, and it felt like JN was more than just her boyfriend. He was now a part of their family. Jon fit right in with the Heaven sisters, spending quality time with them and creating lasting memories. After graduating from high school, Jon decided to enlist. In the Marines, he had a strong sense of duty and a desire to serve his country. On Erin's 18th birthday, Jon surprised her with a proposal. It was a mix of excitement and nervousness for him as he dropped to one knee and asked the question he had been longing to ask. Erin's face lit up with joy as she excitedly yelled, "Yes, Lure," and William were overjoyed for their daughter. They believed in the strength of their relationship and knew that Jon was Erin's right choice. However, they also understood the sacrifices and challenges that came with being a military spouse. They worried for their daughter, knowing there would be times where she would be apart from her family, and they would miss her dearly. Erin and Jon married in Las Vegas after the Marine Corps ball. After Jon had completed basic Marine training, he was assigned to the 29 Palms Marine Base in the Mojave Desert in California in 2013. While attending the base, Erin and Jon found out they were expecting their first child. Unfortunately, just a few months later, they lost the baby. The news hit Erin and Jon hard, but was especially difficult for Erin. During this time, Jon did his best to support and comfort her. Despite the setback, Erin was determined to expand their family and told Jon she was ready to try again when it was safe. 4 months after losing the baby, Erin decided to take a pregnancy test. To her surprise and joy, the results were positive. Excited and anxious to share the news, Erin decided to wait until her mother's upcoming visit to California in June. She believed seeing Lure's reaction in person would make it more meaningful and memorable. In addition to announcing the pregnancy, Erin and Lure planned to visit several attractions in San Diego, including SeaWorld and the zoo. They were looking forward to spending time together and creating new memories. The mother and daughter planned to take hikes through Joshua Tree National Park to scout hiking trails for when her mother visited. Erin decided to visit the national park on June 28th. Before she left, she said goodbye to her husband Jon and said, "I love you." Jan expected Aeon to be home by late afternoon, but as time went on, she failed to return. Jon became increasingly worried. As hours passed, without any word from his wife, he called over 50 times, but his phone went unanswered the following morning on June 29th. Jon called Laura, Erin's mother, at her home in Tennessee. He explained to Laura that Erin had never come home the previous day. Laura was initially concerned for her daughter's well-being, especially due to her pregnancy, and the heat. She feared that Erin had gotten lost in the park, and worried because she wasn't sure how much water Aeon had brought with her. Jon contacted the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department to report his missing pregnant wife. He informed the authorities about Erin's last known whereabouts and requested their assistance locating her. The detective assigned to Erin's case was contemplating whether Erin had driven to Tennessee to visit her mother. However, Laura adamantly denied the possibility, stating that Erin had an intense dislike for driving, had a terrible sense of direction, and was too excited about Laura visiting her in California in their planned trip to SeaWorld. In an effort to find Erin, Jon and his marine friends headed to Joshua Tree National Park. Joshua Tree Park is an over 800-acre expanse of rugged terrain and open desert, which presented significant challenges for the search. Moreover, the end of June brought scorching temperatures, making the search even more difficult. As the detective investigated Erin's disappearance, he delved into the state of Erin and Jon's marriage. On the surface, they appeared to be the perfect American couple, but the detective soon discovered that appearances can be deceiving. The truth was that Erin and Jon's marriage had been strained. Since Erin lost their baby after losing their child, Erin's mental health took a severe downturn. She spiraled into a deep depression that affected every aspect of her life, including her relationship with Jon. Further investigation uncovered that Erin and Jon were facing financial strain in their marriage. The detective learned that the couple was struggling with accumulated debt. This economic strain undoubtedly contributed to the tension in their relationship. During the investigation, the detective learned that Erin had formed a close bond with Chris and Nicole Lee. Chris, like Jon, was also a Marine, which initially brought them together. However, more than just their shared military background connected the couples. Erin and Nicole shared a passion for horses, bringing them closer. Nicole Lee introduced Erin to White Rock Horse Ranch Rescue, about 45 minutes from their military base in 29 Palms. The ranch provided an opportunity for Erin to escape her troubles and find solace in the peaceful surroundings. As Erin's relationship with JN deteriorated, she began to grow even closer to Chris. The detective discovered that Chris, who had recently returned from Afghanistan, also faced his struggles and demons. This shared experience of loss, coupled with the emotional connection they had formed through horses, created a unique bond between them. Erin's love for Chris and Nicole's 6-year-old daughter Liberty also played a crucial role in their relationship. She often babysat the little girl, providing her with a loving and nurturing environment, further cementing Erin's connection with Chris and his family. Erin and Chris would spend hours working at the horse ranch together, and at first it seemed harmless. However, as time passed, Erin and Chris began to give off a romantic vibe, which caught the attention of Nicole, Chris's wife, and she approached Jon, Erin's husband, to inform him that she had seen signs of an affair between Erin and Chris. Jon was devastated to learn that Erin had been unfaithful to him. Despite feeling betrayed, Jon remained committed to his marriage with Erin. He realized he loved her deeply and wanted to find a way to make things work. As a result, Erin ended her relationship with Chris and reconciled with Jon. However, further investigation into Aeon's disappearance revealed a different story. Detectives discovered that Erin and Chris were still in a romantic relationship. This information came from a close friend of Erin's named Jessica. According to Jessica, on the day Erin disappeared, she had informed her about a special trip she planned to take with Chris. Erin told Jessica that she didn't know what Chris was planning. Jessica informed detectives that Erin dropped hints suggesting that Chris might be proposing, even though she was already married and pregnant with Jon's child. However, the most shocking revelation came when Jessica divulged that Erin had expressed uncertainty regarding the identity of the biological father of her unborn baby. This revelation shattered Jon's heart, and the situation was exacerbated when detectives informed him of Erin's plan to meet Chris the day she disappeared. The news left Jon in a state of sadness, knowing that he was now being eyed as a potential suspect in Erin's disappearance. Jon adamantly denied having any involvement in her disappearance, maintaining his innocence. On June 28th, the day Erin went missing, a woman driving near the entrance to Joshua Tree Park noticed a car parked on the side of the road. As she drove in the opposite direction, she noticed the car was still there. This woman became suspicious and decided to take action. She took several photos of the vehicle, hoping to document any potential evidence. 2 days later, on June 30th, another person who saw the car still parked outside Joshua Tree National Park entrance reported it to the police. When the officers arrived, they checked the vehicle's registration. To their surprise, the registration came back as belonging to Erin Corwin. The woman who had captured the car's photo on June 28th also played a significant role in the case. She decided to turn over those images to detectives, hoping they could use them for the investigation. The detectives investigating Erin's disappearance focused on where her car was parked at the entrance to Joshua Tree Park. Upon examining the scene, they noticed a peculiar set of shoe impressions forming a loop from the driver's side door to a spot where there was visible tire tracks. This discovery led the detectives to believe that Erin drove to this location, parked her vehicle, and got into another car. Chris claims that he only knew Erin a little bit, but the detectives were aware that they had been involved in an extramarital affair. The detectives confronted Chris about his statements, questioning why he lied about his relationship with Erin. He explained that at the time he didn't think it was necessary to divulge every detail to the police, as he believed that it wasn't relevant to the case. However, Chris eventually admitted to having a romantic relationship with Erin despite what Chris was telling them. The detectives did not believe him. The detectives told Chris they had evidence that on the day Erin disappeared, she went to Joshua Tree National Park to meet him. Chris admitted that he and Erin had discussed running away together. However, he insisted that he was never actually serious about it. His reason was his love for his 6-year-old daughter, Liberty. He stated that he would never consider abandoning her. Chris initially denied inviting her to go to the park with him and said Aeon overheard him discussing his plans to visit the area. He concocted a story about her being asked to go. The detectives, lacking concrete evidence against Chris, resorted to bluffing by telling him that they matched tire tracks found at the entry of the park to his vehicle, implying that he was the one who met with Erin that day. Upon hearing this, Chris appeared nervous and admitted to the detectives that he might have entered the area where Erin had parked her car. However, he insisted that it was after had left the spot. He claimed that he never saw her on the day she vanished. The detectives then focused on White Rock Horse Ranch, where Erin spent significant time caring for the horses. They spoke to the owner, who informed them that on the day Erin disappeared, Chris's wife Nicole sent a text message stating that Chris would not be showing up for work at the ranch that day because he was sick. However, when Chris and Nicole returned to the ranch the following morning, they appeared tense and uneasy. When the news spread of Erin's disappearance, the owner told the detectives Nicole expressed her belief that Erin was faking her disappearance. For attention and sympathy during the investigation, the detectives discovered that Chris and his family were planning to return to Alaska soon as he was nearing the end of his military service. The owner of White Rock Horse Ranch allowed Chris and Nicole to use her SUV to transport some of their belongings for their move. She also gave the detectives access to search the vehicle after Erin was reported missing. Investigators came across a potato launcher inside the SUV, which was considered an illegal weapon in California. This discovery provided probable cause for the detectives to arrest Chris. However, he was released on bail on July 5, 2014. 1 week after his release, he was discharged from the Marines. In the meantime, the search for Erin continued in San Bernardino County. When he took a polygraph examination, Jon Corwin, Erin's husband, was cleared of suspicion, which determined that he was truthful. By that point in the investigation, the detectives believed that Chris had lured Erin to Joshua Tree National Park, where he murdered her and disposed of her body in one of the M shafts. A lucky break came in the days after Erin's disappearance, when a friend who went with Chris on the M scouting mission before the incident showed detectives the images he took during that trip. With these images in hand, detectives recruited a cave expert to examine the photos. This cave expert narrowed down the spot where the pictures were taken in the Mojave Desert. The expert claimed that the location was the Rose Peru mine, but there were several mines in that area, meaning that Erin's remains could be in any of them, determined to find any trace of Erin. A massive search of the Rose Peru mine began. The search lasted for weeks, with the detectives meticulously examining every corner of the desert in search of any clues. Despite their best efforts, the search yielded no positive results. As the search continued, the detectives remained hopeful that they would find closure and bring justice to Erin. On August 14, 2014, as the search continued for the missing woman, a member of the San Bernardino Cave rescue team detected a stench of gas emanating from a mine. The rescue team immediately dispatched a member down the mine shaft to determine the source of the gas smell. Upon closer examination inside of the mine, they discovered a human leg. With the discovery of the leg, the rescue team wasted no time in removing the body from the mine. Alongside the body, several items of evidence were recovered, including a makeshift torch made from a skirt, a propane tank, and a bottle of Sprite. These objects provided crucial clues in the investigation. Once the body was recovered, it was transported to the medical examiner's office for examination. Upon examining the remains, the medical examiner discovered that the remains belonged to Erin Corwin. Further investigation revealed that she had a garrote wire wrapped around her neck, which indicated that the cause of death was strangulation. A gat is a weapon or tool designed to restrict airflow by putting pressure on the throat or windpipe. It typically consists of a handle or handle-like structure attached to a wire cord or other flexible material. The implement is wrapped around the victim's neck or other parts of the body, applying pressure that restricts or cuts off the oxygen supply. Based on the evidence found at the scene, an arrest warrant was issued for Chris Lee. Charges of first-degree murder were brought against him in relation to Corwin's disappearance and murder. During the trial, several witnesses came forward to testify about Lee's interest in learning how to dispose of a body in the weeks leading up to Corwin's disappearance. Their statements strengthened the prosecution's case. One of Chris Lee's friends recalled seeing a white propane tank in his car, similar to the one discovered with Erin Corwin's body. This friend asked Chris why he had a propane tank, and Chris reportedly replied that he was going to blow up a mine. Another witness, a close friend of Erin's, testified that Erin was in love with Chris and was planning on leaving her husband Jon for him. On the day Erin went missing, she was said to be excited about her special trip to Joshua Tree National Park with Chris. During Chris's trial, the prosecution called a DNA expert from the crime lab to testify regarding evidence found at the scene. The expert testified that the green t-shirt used to create the homemade torch found beside Aon's body in the mine had Chris Lee's DNA on it. This expert further informed the jury that the swab from the mouth of the Sprite bottle found beside Erin's body tested positive for DNA, and both Erin and Chris's DNA were found. The prosecution's theory in the Erin Corwin murder case was that Chris Lee took her to Joshua Tree National Park under the guise of a romantic trip, but his intentions were sinister. According to the prosecution, Chris met Erin at the entrance of the park and persuaded her to get into his car. However, instead of heading towards scenic viewpoints or hiking trails, he drove her to the Road Peru Mines. Once there, Chris allegedly strangled Erin with a garrote and dropped her body down the shaft. He then tried to dispose of any evidence by blowing up the mine using a homemade torch which he created using his t-shirt and a propane tank. The intent was to destroy both Erin's body and any potential evidence that could link her to Chris. However, Chris decided to not follow through with his plan. For some reason, it was not clear why he did not proceed with the explosion. Chris Lee took the stand in his own defense. He informed the jury that he had always planned to leave the United States Marine Corps by June 2014. This decision was driven by his desire to move on and start a new chapter in his life. Additionally, Chris revealed that he intended to end his relationship with Erin and relocate to Alaska, where his wife and daughter would accompany him. According to Chris, on June 28th, he had planned a hunting trip for himself in Iran. The purpose of this outing was to create an opportunity for them to have an honest conversation. Chris stated that he had picked Erin up from the park's entrance and driven to the Rose Peru mine, a secluded area known for its natural beauty. However, Chris claimed that Erin had reservations about the safety and location of the mine. As a result, she elected to remain in the car while Chris unloaded his supplies from the truck. Chris testified that he returned to his car where Erin was listening to music which allowed them to engage in conversation. During their conversation, Chris informed Erin about his decision to relocate to Alaska with his family in response to this news. Erin expressed her desire to accompany him. She emphasized the importance of being in his daughter's life. However, Chris had a different perspective on the situation. He informed the jury that his wife, Nicole, had discovered that their daughter was being sexually abused. Chris believed that Erin was responsible while sitting in the car near the mine. Chris confronted Erin with the question of whether she had touched his daughter inappropriately. According to Chris, Erin became visibly nervous and started to stutter as she confessed that she had indeed abused his daughter. This revelation left Chris deeply concerned and upset, prompting him to protect his daughter during his testimony. Chris admitted to the jury that he became filled with anger and hate towards Erin upon learning of the abuse, driven by his concern for his daughter's well-being. He testified that he got out of his truck and searched for his garrote, a strangulation device driven by his intention to punish Erin for hurting his daughter. He strangled her to death after killing Erin. Chris took her body and dragged it into the mine shaft. He then proceeded to push her into the mine, ensuring she would never be found. Chris Lee was found guilty of Erin Corwin's murder and was sentenced to life in prison without parole. Jon Corwin, Erin's husband, firmly denies Chris Lee's allegation that Erin abused Chris and Nicole's daughter. The detectives and prosecutor involved in investigating Erin's case have also expressed their disgust at CH claims, stating that everyone who knew Erin knew she was incapable of harming that little girl.